This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp.
Sometimes it can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives, whether married, dating, or single. The truth is, most of us are still figuring it out and finding our way. And no matter where you are in your romantic journey, therapy can help you find your way and help you determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can take some pressure off yourself.
We get it. February is full of flowers and candy and stuffed animals. And of course, lots of talk about relationships and dating. No matter where you are, whether you're married or dating or single or just focusing on you, you're right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and see more clearly where you want to be. Yeah, I think it's always a good time to do some therapy.
I mean, I think that it's an urban myth that you have to have some big, giant, cataclysmic thing happening when you need to go to therapy. But like, so many people would benefit from just going regularly. There's always work to be done. We're always a work in process.
I think some people sometimes, feel like there's something wrong with them, but also you don't want to be a burden to your friends and constantly be trauma dumping and offloading onto them. So a therapist is the perfect person to be able to speak those things to and not risk your friendships.
Well, and also I feel like I just start looking forward to it.
Yeah.
That's your you time to be selfish and talk about you.
Exactly.
What a great subject.
You're such a Leo.
Therapy can help you identify what's weighing down your relationships and find ways to brighten them again. Whether it's for individuals or couples, therapy is an opportunity to identify what's getting in the way and help remove any blockers.
BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. And they do the initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and their 12 plus years experience and industry-leading match fulfillment rate means they're typically getting it right the first time.
If you aren't happy with your match, switch to a different therapist at any time from their tailored recs. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/disrespectfully. That's betterhelp.com/disrespectfully. Good morning.
Good morning.
Happy Friday.
Friday.
Friday. It's here again.
How do you feel? No.
I feel amazing. How do you feel?
I feel incredible.
It's pouring once again. I kind of like that.
I kind of don't.
Do you not? Are you over it?
I just don't know why in LA it just can't like rain for like a couple hours and then the sun comes out. It has to be just a torrential downpour for a week straight. That's what I can't stand.
I posted one of the funnier things I've ever seen in my life last night. It was that account Overheard LA, I think.
Yeah.
The girl from Sandra Bullock in Bird Box when she's in the boat with the blindfold on, and the text was LA drivers merging in the rain. And I was like, I hate you all. Love from Seattle. It's scary here when having to drive in that.
That's why I don't want to. It's more annoying when it's raining like that and you have to go places. Like you can't just like sit at home and enjoy a day in.
I know you did, but the video someone posted of that trash can going lovingly down the hill, so gliding, so smoothly, elegantly in the rain, and someone overplayed the Titanic music. It was incredible.
Oh, yeah, and I also saw the same one where it's like your ex drove past me today.
Yeah.
Even though it was a recycle bin, I still got the message.
We were picking up what they were putting down.
Yeah. Anyway.
Welcome to Disrespectfully
with Katie Maloney
and Dayna Kathan.
Unapologetically.
We're here to do what we want to do.
Spilling the tea.
Babe, you're going to see the power of women. Like,
disrespectfully.
What else is going on with you?
What else? I'm caught up on Summer House.
How many episodes are out?
3.
Okay, tell us your thoughts. I haven't seen it, so tell us your thoughts.
Oh, man. Is the
writing on the wall?
Yeah. It's hard to believe that Amanda and Kyle were not already separated during this time because the amount of contempt she has for this man is record high.
Are we sure they weren't?
I don't know. I saw another person post on TikTok. They're like, my hypothesis is that they were already separated, but like didn't want to bring that to the show quite yet, or maybe were trying to work it out. But they slept with a pillow between them, because they have like the nighttime cameras in their bedrooms, and they never sat next to each other for anything, a group dinner, a nothing. And she just loathes this man so much. And I mean, like, and he's just, I hate to say it, but he was just seemed to be intoxicated the whole time, like just slurring his words, like literally the whole time. And then he tries to blame her for her smoking weed. He's like, well, when I do finally come home and I want to talk to you, you're in bed and you're high. Like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Why are you trying to have a conversation then when you have all day to talk? Men are just so fucking men about things.
That's such a good way of putting it. Men are just so fucking men. How do you say her last name?
Batula?
Amanda Batula. I saw her on my, she popped up on my TikTok smoking a J in bed. And I was like, that must be then what, because everyone in the comments were like,
oh yeah, no.
Get it, girl. But I'm like, what's wrong with smoking a J in bed? That's
nothing.
great.
But he's blaming that on like her, that being the inability for them to, one, be intimate, two, have conversations, three, function as a couple. He calls her like lazy because she is kind of messy and won't let him like get it clean or something. I don't know. It all just seems like so. Okay.
When I saw her with that joint, enjoying her night, I was like, oh, you're about to enter the best chapter of your life.
Yeah, I just think I relate to her so much because this just feels a lot, it resembles a lot of like what I went through with Tom, of just not being compatible and just having like two very, as you get older, it becomes harder to ignore because you get more settled into like your ways and like, you know, he wants to go out and party. So that's why I think that's part of the DJ gig that he has taken. And she wants to be a little more low key. And when you're like that, you start to live like these parallel lives, even though you're in a marriage and you're supposed to be, you know, sharing a life together.
I was going to say, in terms of you having experienced something similar, do you feel like this is maybe her arc of the point of no return then it's just like contempt because she's just checked out. Like she knows.
She seems fully checked out. Like she's very mean to him, but you know, understandably so. He cannot apologize to her. So he acted like an imbecile the first weekend. And then the next weekend they're out there and he's apologizing to the entire table for basically oversharing stuff about their marriage, about their intimacy, about her being messy. You know, so he's apologizing to everyone for putting him in that position, but never once just apologized to her directly. And like, in just trying to get him to do that, like he made a whole scene out of it. It's just, I'm very happy for her. You know what? I'm happy for him because now like he can be living his best DJ dude life and not have to be responsible for someone else.
Go be a late in life DJ.
Yeah. You know?
Single. Go wake up in houses at 7 a.m. Do that yourself. Like you can. So great. If that's,
and then now you don't have to worry about, you know, hurting someone else.
Right.
Until the next one comes around. But yeah, I'm happy for her because she's about to thrive and be feeling so free and unburdened.
I always like watching a show when you know the real life events. So at the time it was recorded, there's now like you have the hindsight to look back on. So I think that's interesting lens for all you Summer House fans out there.
Yeah. And then also,
what?
I caught up on some Love is Blind and there is this fucking, and here's the thing about
the Lucky Charm.
I'm going to say this because, you know, men who are short only give themselves a bad name because a lot of the time they have really bad attitudes and they make it everyone else's problem that they're like not tall dudes. But like at the end of the day, no one's like unattracted to shorter men. Let's be very clear about it. It's the fact that they're so self-conscious about it that they're like mean and they try to cut other people down. They can't get off of it. So it's like often their bad attitude. It has nothing to do with the fact they're short. There's this man, Chris, and he is on the shorter side of things, but he is such a dick. So is
he the MAGA one?
Yeah.
Because his ex made a TikTok. That's one of the ones I was talking about. I saw. So I knew who he was.
Shout out to her. She follows disrespectfully. And if you're listening, Jessica, you're a real one.
Oh my God. Hi, Jessica.
She's such a queen. She works she's an infectious disease doctor. She is highly accomplished, very successful. And this man is so threatened by her. Do you know he sat her down after going rogue on her for 13 hours. He said he wanted to go out and meet a friend for a drink. No problem. But then literally ghosted her for almost an entire day and then comes to her and he's like, yeah, so I've just been thinking, you know, typically
you've been thinking that's the first problem.
I date women who do like CrossFit, you know, who like do Pilates every day. Basically trying to insinuate that like she's not hot enough or doesn't have the physique that he desires. It was so fucking foul what he did and so hurtful because she really loved him. And I have a feeling this is going to be a huge life lesson for her, but like, it was just so cruel how he spoke to her and so obvious that he was threatened by her and that she was more successful than him. And so he had to hit her where it hurts. And the thing is, she's a very attractive girl. She has a great body. She's also too busy. She's like, sorry, I'm at the hospital all day. I can't go to Pilates. And then he rolls in. So then they have this big mixer with everyone from the pods, everyone, you know, not necessarily people that ended up getting engaged. And he starts bad-mouthing her, saying it's the worst sex he's had, goes to his number 2 choice, starts talking shit about the man that she's engaged to, talking shit about Jessica, saying like, yeah, it was like the worst sex. And he goes, and I've given the best to everybody, you know, like just making it so overtly sexual. And this girl's sitting there entertaining it. So I'm like, ugh, you're gross too. But yeah, shout out to Jessica for getting away from that man.
Absolutely.
Even if it wasn't her choice, I'm happy for you.
The audacity.
The audacity.
And also, I love that you can speak to this from the perspective of you're dating a short king who's just one of the best, in who we wish that he could be copy and paste for all of them in terms of personality, confidence.
He's confident.
Great.
He doesn't care. He doesn't ever mention my height. It's not a conversation because he's confident and he doesn't make that his entire personality and make it everyone else's problem.
Also, wasn't again, this is since I haven't watched it, I've just seen online, wasn't that girl that he was with politically outspoken in the way that we are and he's secret MAGA following Trump.
Speaks out for transgender rights and awareness and visibility, and he follows Donald Trump and all the Trumps. And then some other like pretty embarrassing right-wing shit. But he's so red-pilled. He absolutely is the type that walks around saying alpha and beta. He did say alpha and alpha male a few times.
If any man specifically says alpha to me, I immediately know you're a beta.
Yeah.
Like you just are. And
you're insecure and you're a small man, both metaphorically and physically.
Yuck. Okay. Those are 2 things you're watching. Can I tell you one thing I'm watching?
Love Story.
Yes. I want to just touch on it real quick because we have other shows to talk about next week. But so we are watching Love Story on Hulu. It is a story of John F. K. Jr. and Carolyn Bessette. And I distinctly remember hearing about their plane crash, but I was so young at the time that I didn't know a lot of the backstory. I've also strayed away from a lot of Ryan Murphy shows lately just because of like the ones about monsters. Like I haven't like totally aligned with them, but apparently he wrote this or something, or someone else wrote it and he produced it. So I don't know. It's back to, I loved the story. I can't remember what it was called, but of Monica Lewinsky. It was a similar thing, like a political undertone subset kind of show. And I thought they did a really good job with that of humanizing her and giving her backstory that she deserved. And this feels like that's what's happening. It's fascinating. I've gone down so many Kennedy rabbit holes now because I just didn't know the law.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. Carolyn Bessette was so chic.
Ugh.
My God.
What a woman she was. Also, the music is so good. And I added there's a playlist on Apple Music. I'm sure there's one on Spotify for the music in it because it's so just of a fantastic time in the early 90s.
I think the casting is incredible. The music's incredible. Casting, the way it's shot, their chemistry is very believable.
Yeah. Also, that man who that casted is like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I will say also, one thing about Ryan Murphy is he has to be one of the horniest people alive. Because all of the American Horror Stories, everything he does is just has like a very horny element to it. The locker room scene, like unnecessary. But okay.
I thought the whole time I was like, that was a creative choice.
And then the football scene. I was like, this is some homoerotic shit, and I love it.
Absolutely,
love it. He just like all the shirtless dudes just pushing and bumping into each other. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I love it.
So highly recommend if you're not watching it. It's so good. I'm thirsty. I think the next episode comes out tonight. I'm thirsty for the next episode. I blew through the first 3 in one sitting and then was like, God damn it. Now we have to wait.
Obviously, we're watching more stuff like America's Next Top Model documentary and Tell Me Lies, which we spoke about.
We were gabbing about nonstop. There was a lot to say. If you missed the Wednesday episode, maybe like go back and check it out.
Yeah. That's what I've been up to is basically consuming television.
Right. That's my favorite thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I know it's like my shtick and whatever, but I just have to say, I love what a smoker she is. And I love the way they incorporate that into the show. However, I'm having a harder time watching it because while I'm watching it, I'm like, do I need to go have a dart for no reason on the patio by myself right now at 7 o'clock on a Thursday?
Same with Jackie. She loved a cig.
Oh my, and what a doll she is. It's been fast. I've been like going down a rabbit hole about her specifically. I mean, obviously we know her as just one of the most iconic first ladies to ever live, but what a woman. And also all of their hair. And I know that it's true to life, so it makes sense, but even like watching her in her days at Calvin Klein and she's just had this like tresses that are so dreamy, but even I kept looking at Jackie O and was like, Wow.
Mhm.
What a beautiful bob. That isn't a bob. That's Robert.
That is
You know? I'm like, wow.
that is so funny. And Bob, that's Robert. Anyway.
Well, her Bob is a hometown hero, and so are all of you. So let's jump into that.
Speaking of Bob, can I just anecdotally just have a little chuckle with you about that fucking fuck ass workout video that Kid Rock and RFK did?
I didn't get through more than 4 seconds of it. I was like, no, I don't need to see this with my eyes.
Speaking of homoerotica,
why is he always wearing denim? It's so creepy.
Denim in the cold plunge was an odd choice, and the milk in the sauna was also a weird fucking choice. But like, all right.
But also have more milk and get more raw milk and have it in the sauna. I want you. I think you should.
And then report back to us.
Yeah.
From your E. coli coma. Anyhow. All right, let's go into it.
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Julia says, Coven core, figure skating, flowers for the first backflip. Hi, ladies. Riding back in, it's the Camel Crush girly who almost burned her house down and blamed her dad. LOLs. I went to something about her during my work trip, and Katie, the sandwiches are bomb. I would not hate if you opened a location in Philly.
Okay.
Sorry if this is long, but I'm listening to the Wednesday episode where Katie adds Ilya Maloney to her daddy list, and I had to write in. I'm a former competitive figure skater, and I can't not speak up for Surya Benali since this is the pod about the power of women. Ilya is hailed as doing the backflip, and of course, Ilya is great. He pushes boundaries and does things that are unheard of. But Surya did the first backflip at the Olympics in '98 in Nagano, and she was dragged for it. To give some backstory, Surya was a French lady skater. She was known for her power, which in today's ice skating is awarded, but back in the 90s, the judges wanted to see a delicate flower from women's skating. Another dimension was she was a Black woman. Even as a young child, I remember watching her skate clean or better than her competitors and receiving lower scores. I knew back then that misogyny and racism were happening and she was not your typical lady skater. So when she stepped on Olympic ice for her free program in '98, she decided that she had nothing to lose. She had skated a clean program in the short program, but was given low marks. Then the day before the free skate, she pulled her groin, which definitely impacted her abilities. But she decided to do the backflip, an illegal move, as a fuck you to the judges who continually refused to give her credit that she deserved. And she landed it so cleanly on one foot.
Have you seen this?
No, I need to look it up.
I've seen it all over. Like, I'm not acting like he was the first person to ever do it. I'm very aware of Surya. So just want to put that out there.
Imagine doing a backflip, not on skates, on landing on one foot.
I can't imagine
on ice, on a razor blade.
You land on like basically a butter knife. That's crazy.
That is so crazy. 8-year-old me watched that and saw a woman standing defiantly in the face of a system that continually put her down, and it was inspiring. While again, Ilya is great, I do hate that the sport refuses to give her her flowers that she deserved. She did the '98 backflip on an injured groin, and at the time, she was the only person in the world who could land it on one foot. Not even men at the time could do that, and she was doing it. And hers is still better than Ilya's today. Sorry, not sorry. And just for anyone wondering, here's the difference between pairs and ice dance. Pairs skaters have jumps and throws as a required element. Ice dancers have no jumps or throws in their program. Pair skaters have to do lifts above their head, while ice dancers are not able to lift their partner above their head. Mm-hmm. Interesting. I feel like I would probably like the one where I don't have to be hoisted above a head.
Yeah, but it's just two different competitions.
Right.
So that's the
Well, I just really appreciated your insight.
Thank you for
I've been asking.
Thank you for the backstory. I didn't know that she was injured or she did that, but I do know that she was the first person to do that legally back in the day, and it is so clean and nice to watch.
So, I mean, I guess I need to do my own research, but it sounds like today they still don't acknowledge that and say like she.
I don't know who's not acknowledging it. I think it's widely spoke of. I just think.
Oh, okay. Maybe
back then it was just it was. She was getting low marks for no reason, and I get it. It's only recently been allowed. Like, this is the first year that it's allowed. So that's why
interesting.
It's been cool to see people doing it if they can. But like, yeah, she was the OG. Okay. You guys, it's post Valentine's Day, which means it's time to lock in. You've tried dry January, didn't work. You put your heart on the line in February, didn't work. But now it's time. You're going to eat some delicious protein and fiber thanks to the indomitable delicacy that is Hero Bread.
All of your favorite recipes are covered with Hero Bread's sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, dinner rolls, and more. And you'd never know, it's 0 to 5 grams net carb and high fiber from the texture.
Skip the bummer breakfast and enjoy all your favorites in the morning with Hero Bread 4-gram net carb bagels with 19 grams of protein. Plus, if you're feeling a little funky flirty, try their 5-gram net carb everything bagel with 17 grams of protein.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
You'd never know it's low net carb and high fiber bread from the texture. Get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love, whether you're packing fresh wraps for everyday lunches or toasting up a high fiber breakfast bagel.
No compromises, just flavor. Ultra low net carb, 0 grams of sugar, and high in fiber. All your favorite recipes are covered with Hero Bread's sliced bread loaves, tortillas, bagels, and dinner rolls. Small batch drops of indulgent favorites like the popular 2-gram net carb Hero Croissant and 1-gram net carb Hero Buttermilk Biscuit. Perfect for the health conscious who still loves good food.
This year, hit your goals without giving up your favorite bready dishes. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use code disrespectfully10 at checkout. That's disrespectfully10 at hero.co.
I'm going to be honest. Managing money used to feel like something I was actively avoiding. Like, I'd just rather not look and just hope everything works out.
Same. Who hasn't been there? I hated trying to keep track of subscriptions, random charges, all of it. It was overwhelming, and I absolutely didn't have the patience. I know that doesn't sound like me.
That's why we both love Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings.
What I actually use it for is seeing everything in one place. It links all your accounts and automatically categorizes transactions so you can actually tell where your money's going without doing any of the work. Hello.
And the subscription tracking is huge. It shows what you're paying for, what's reoccurring, and it can cancel subscriptions within the app with a few taps, which saves time and avoids those surprise charges.
I also love the alerts, like when there's a big transaction, an upcoming bill, or your balance is getting low. It's helpful without being stressful.
It just makes everything feel more under control, which is honestly priceless.
Let Rocket Money help you reach your financial goals faster. Join at rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully.
That's rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully. rocketmoney.com/disrespectfully. Kaylin says, "Hi, Katie. Hi, Dana.
Hi.
Hi. Newfound VPR fan and absolutely obsessed with your podcast. I wanted to write in because I am a touring musician and I love when Nick would come on the podcast and talk about being in a touring band because it's truly a whole different world. My band is obviously not as big as Sleeping with Sirens, but we do all hop in a 10-passenger van and live on the road for months at a time." Shout out to that's such a
That's hard.
crazy thing to do, but good for you for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to being in a band, I had been to maybe 5 states. Now I've been to about 46 states and 4 Canadian provinces. The kindest of strangers really keeps us afloat on the road. I live for the moments of sharing a cig with locals in the middle of buttfuck Kansas, or sleeping in strangers' houses and staying up all night drinking in the garage and getting to know people I usually would never cross paths with. America is such a vast country, and I'll never take for granted getting glimpses into other people's culture around this country. Our first stop on our next tour is Minneapolis, and we're all feeling a bit uneasy. My band is fronted by an immigrant, and I do worry about her. But the people in Minneapolis are some of my favorite people I've gotten to know across the country, so we all think it's very important to play the show. Now more than ever, we need music and we need art. In an age of overconsumption and exploitation within the country and the music industry, I think it's really important for people to start making shit. Who cares if it's shitty? The time and energy spent on something that you're passionate about is never a waste. I wake up grateful every day for opportunities I've gotten within this industry because it's a very tough industry to break into. We've spent the last 5 years playing every basement and house in the area to eventually getting some really cool direct support slots on tour. Anyways, now that I'm here, I may as well shoot my shot. If y'all like 90s inspired, femme-fronted, cunty indie rock, please check out my band, Alex Vile. P.S. If you're in town, we're playing at the Echo April 1st, and we would love to have you. Dana is at the top of my SIG rotation, and I will do anything to make that happen. Please hit us up if you'd like to come. We'll put you on the list. Yeah, I love to come actually. I love cunty,
we love
90s inspired female fronted bands. Are you joking?
We should go.
No.
You saying hello, I'm your dream SIG rotation is like let's have a cigarette.
Yeah.
100%.
And also I fucking love the Echo, so
yeah,
I'll be there.
I guess we're going. Everyone go check out Alex Vile. I Also, feel like if you don't have one, you need to make a YouTube channel. That's a show I would watch. I love stories like that of people you wouldn't meet, and like I think it's so
tour
cool.
life is so interesting and different than what you could imagine, especially when you're doing it like this, like very grassroots style, where you don't have like hotels. You're staying at on people's floors of their basement and having breakfast with random people. You're just having to be nomads and share your art with people. I think it's so respectable, and I am really I'm proud of you for doing it.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
Those are stories for yesteryear, though. I need a hotel and a bathrobe.
Oh yeah,
that's us. We're not able to do that, but Paige says,
happy for you.
Hello, Katie and Dana. I've always had a strong connection to the paranormal / other side, and I have many stories about my experiences. One that particularly comes to mind as I am currently listening to the pod is the first time a loved one came to say goodbye to me. I was quite young, around 9 to 10 years old, when I was about to fall asleep while having a sleepover at my Nana's house. I'll never forget hearing a whisper saying, Paige. It's a whisper, but there's an exclamation point, so I imagine it was kind of, blunt. I immediately woke and told my Nana that my little sister, who was sleeping in bed next to me, had to sleep in a different room. I don't know how I knew this, but I felt like I had to receive the message alone. That night, I dreamt of my great-grandma saying his goodbye to me. In the morning, I walked in the kitchen and my Nana said, I have something to tell you. And I responded with, oh, I know great-grandpa is dead. He said goodbye to me last night. I'll never forget the color absolutely drained from her face as I sat down for breakfast. To this day, I'm now 30. Every time someone has passed, I hear the same whisper of my name, then dream of the person waving goodbye. It brings me so much peace and hope to meet my loved ones again in another world. Thank you so much for your pod that brings me, and I'm sure many others, joy and hope for a better world. Love, Paige. Yes, I'm a tattoo artist in Canada and would love the opportunity. That's how Michael Scott says it.
Canada.
Would love the opportunity to work with you two one day. At Paigey Tattoos on Instagram and TikTok. If you're in Canada and you need a tattoo, go check Paige out, guys. Anywho, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Little kids stay doing weird shit like that.
For sure. But she says to this day.
Well, I mean, there's nothing, I would honestly rather have a fully formed adult saying that to me, but if a little child comes up to you like, I know they're gone, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah, I know. I dreamt it last night. Creepy. But I guess it's a cool little gift you have.
Such a gift.
Okay. Paige says, the white shower. To Katie and Dana. Like the formality there. My name is Paige. We're best friends. You guys just don't know it yet. But seriously, I love you both. I've been fans since the early Tequila Katie days and love Dana ever since she put that fuckboy's chain through dirty cat litter. Actual queens don't ever change. Anyway, my story. I'll preface this story by saying that I was single for a year after getting out of a 5-year relationship at 23. I had zero idea how to be a single 20-year-old. I got on Bumble and was intrigued by this guy whose summary was, guess where I have a tattoo and you'll win a prize. Ooh. Well, I'm always up for a challenge. I messaged him and guessed it was on his ass. Ding, ding. He told me it was depiction of an ugly fish him and his buddies caught when they took a trip out of the country, and they all drunkenly agreed to get a tattoo to remember the experience. Well, he was the only one to do it. Skipping ahead to our second date, it was going decently well. He wanted to take me to meet his friends, which seemed like a lot for a second date. But I'm kind of new to this, so I agreed. We went to a hookah bar, and let's call him Jack, was doing typical guy shit and giving his buddies shit for having small cocks again. Weird as fuck for a second date environment, but okay. It ended with me going back to his place. I didn't have intentions on having sex, but the moment felt right, so we did it. Let me tell you, it was the worst sexual experience I've ever had. There was little to no foreplay before the action happened, and when he was inside of me, I was questioning if he actually was. I didn't know what to expect. Before this, I'd only had sex with my ex. Hilariously, the same guy who was giving his buddies shit for having small dicks had a small dick. That's usually
how that goes.
How it is. Accusations or confessions. So there we go. I didn't feel anything down there. I only knew he was inside because he was moaning obnoxiously. To make matters worse, he started jackhammering me, full on Energizer Bunny. I was basically vibrating and in straight up shock and disbelief that this was happening, that I just laid there unable to do anything but question my existence. I felt like a deer in headlights, just watching the car get closer. He finished fairly quick and took off his condom and proceeded to shower me. And you know what? Like as if he was peeing in the snow. We did not have a discussion that I was okay with.
No, I think you need to explain say what it is. Because that is so shocking. I'll read that.
Okay.
Proceeded to shower me in his cum. Like if he was peeing in the snow.
Ew.
I'm so mad for you right now.
Yeah, this is the worst experience ever. I was literally in shock. Then he went to the bathroom and grabbed a roll of paper towel and it gave me one square. Thanks. I can only assume he does this often because who the fuck has a roll of paper towel in their bathroom? Thankfully, I drove myself to his place and left as soon as the sun was rising while he was still asleep. This was the first time I had sex in a year and was traumatized after that. Didn't have sex for another 7 months because I was downright terrified. And after all that, I didn't even see the ugly fish tattoo. I hope this wasn't too long and gave you a belly laugh. I'm married now and can happily report that I have not taken a cum shower since that experience. Love you, Paige. Men just being men in the grossest way.
Here's the thing. A cum shower is fine if it's welcomed. If it's a consensual cum shower. If we're using a condom, I think maybe we should ask if I want that poured on me. That's what?
Yeah.
And also there's nothing worse than after having a breakup, having sex that's disappointing or traumatizing like that. But like that is just insult to injury.
Men like this who, obviously watch a lot of porn and they think that's how they should be having sex, i.e. the jackhammering of it all and the obnoxious moaning and then the cum shower, stop doing that. Stop.
Yeah. And also I feel like it's one of he gets off on the reaction or the shock of like, doing like, I agree with you. He probably does that to people. That's like his thing. Yuck.
Well, I'm happy that you're happily married now.
MJ says, hi, Dana and Katie. After last week's MTV programming nostalgia, I had to share my own Heauxmetown Hero moment, my brush with Maid. In 2009, my awkward sophomore self auditioned alongside 200 other students when MTV held an open casting call in my suburban New England high school. I showed up exactly as I was. Nerdy, bubbly, overachieving AP athlete student, too many extracurriculars plus a weekend job. And I guess that's precisely the type of person they wanted. I was the only student from the school picked to move forward. What followed was the strangest week of my teenage life. An MTV producer followed me around for 2 days, interviewing my friends, teachers, and family about my completely random dream of being made into a salsa dancer. I went from invisible to unavoidable overnight, all while a man in his late 20s shadowed me everywhere and asked deeply invasive questions about my life. The peak nightmare, he insisted on filming a private personal interview in my bedroom. Unfortunately for both of us, this was during my intense Twilight era, books, posters, and life-size Edward Cullen cutout included. The producer was thrilled. He filmed everything and had me take a photo of him posing next to Edward on his BlackBerry. MTV ultimately passed my episode, likely because I refused to discuss my non-existent love life on camera, a rare moment of teenage wisdom. But later, after some Facebook sleuthing, I discovered the same producer had made the Edward Cullen photo his profile picture. My purple zebra curtains were unmistakable. In hindsight, an adult man using a photo taken in a teenage girl's bedroom as his profile picture was extremely weird behavior. 100% that's bizarre. I never learned to salsa dance, but plot twist, I now own a pole dance and recently won a silver medal in my first competition. I danced to Devil I Know by Alex X, and it's one of the coolest things I've ever done. Hope you enjoyed this bizarre little tale, and thank you for always entertaining us with this podcast. XOXO MJ. Okay, I want to learn to pole dance so bad. I think that's so cool. Good
I know,
for you for
but I
doing
have no upper
competition.
body strength.
So cool. I want to retweet for you. That's super weird that he would make that his profile photo.
Also, like,
wild times.
How do you? They're like, all right, what do you want to be made into? As a young teenager, you're like a salsa dancer. Of all the things.
Well, and also
so
your love life. You're a child. So what? Yeah, I don't have one. I'm a kid.
No, that's weird. The 2000s were weird times. Like nothing that happened, aka like the America's Next Top Model, would fly today.
No.
Whew.
So upsetting.
Here's the next one. It says pulled over at gunpoint. Hello, beautiful Coven queens. I was listening to the pod this morning, and yes, it was the first thing I did hear after I woke up. I heard the story about the girl being arrested for resisting an officer when she was sleeping, and I thought of a traumatic police story of my own. In my early 20s, I worked as a bartender at a restaurant. I left in the middle of my shift and went home sick. When I got back to my apartment, I got in bed and passed out immediately. When I woke up, I looked out the window to see if my boyfriend was home from work, but was shocked to see my car was gone. It had been stolen. I was crushed. I had a week's worth of tips in my center console that I was saving for a trip to visit my family in San Diego. The day I flew out. I got a call that the cops recovered my car, but it was totaled. When I got home from the trip, I bought a new car. And because my previous car was found, I transferred my license plate to my new car. About a week after this happened, I was driving to the grocery store and got pulled over. I had no idea what I'd done. The cop came to my window with his gun pointed at me. When backup arrived, they pulled me out of the car, still at gunpoint. The cop told me that I was being detained for having stolen plates on my car. I was sobbing and tried to explain what had happened to my stolen car. After about an hour, it got straightened out, but I was a mess. It turns out the police never took my old car off the stolen vehicle registry, which was why I was pulled over for a felony stop. The next day, I got a phone call from the cop that pulled me over. He felt so bad for what happened and how traumatic the situation was. He wanted to make sure I was okay. Anywho, I'm now married to a cop. And I know there are definitely many good men and women working to truly keep their community safe. I hate that bad apples ruin it for law enforcement officers. I do agree that they shouldn't be wearing badge ice, for example. Okay, love you, bye. Disrespectfully, Meg. That would be so traumatic.
Oh my God. Of course. You'd be so freaked out. And also hate when it's like, there's a podcast called Let's Not Meet. Have we ever talked about that? It's based off a Reddit forum. So people basically post brushes with like bad things that happen. And this creepy lady stole this like a baby was in a car seat and started walking away. And at first she said that like the man was stealing it. And so they took the baby and like gave it to this creepy woman. And he's like, that is my baby. And the wife showed up and like ran past it. So it like reminds me of that, of like, he knew that they had it wrong and it was messed up, but you're like stuck in this horrible situation because people are not believing you. Like,
oh my God,
the trauma of that.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie.
But also, that's really sweet to hear that the officer called her the next day and was sorry about it.
Yeah, I feel like that type of accountability doesn't always happen.
No, sure doesn't.
But I'm happy that there's a case of it.
We love to hear it. Should we answer some questions?
Yeah.
Do a little WWDD? Sammy says, WWDD, too good at being alone. Hey, Katie and Dana, I love you guys and the safe space that you've created for everyone here. I'm 28 years old and I'm really good at being alone, but I'm worried I'm too good at it. I currently am on a solo trip on the west coast of Australia from the east coast for no reason other than I wanted to. I've never been here before, and wanted to see what my home has to offer. It never struck me as weird until people asked me what I was doing with my time off work, and I was met with, by yourself? Why? It's really hard to explain to people that being anywhere by myself isn't scary. It's actually really healing. I spent most of my childhood with crippling anxiety, and I did a lot of work to get better myself as an adult, and I feel like I'm here, but I feel like no one else can understand me. I've never been the girl who needs a man or needs a partner to be fulfilled, but I'm sitting at this pub by myself, and I feel like everyone here is more interested in it than me. When I walk into a pub alone, I'm not looking for what everyone else is doing, but sometimes you see the looks from older couples, and it's almost like they pity you. I want to put myself out there, but I feel like I'm not in a position to do that until I have decompressed and taken time to recharge after a really busy year. But I often wonder, should I be more concerned? I do want to meet people and have people in my life, but will the right person come and understand me for who I am? Or have I cut myself up for so long that I'm too good at this and I need to take steps to put myself out there to meet someone? I don't feel insecure about it until I'm in these situations where I'm questioned for wanting to do things by myself and spend more time recharging. And people treat me like being here alone is a sad thing when I feel anything but. Disrespectfully, Sammy. Okay, so first of all, it's, in my opinion, a really admirable and good thing to be able to be alone. I think that a lot of people end up in relationships or having people in their lives, even platonically, because they're just so afraid of being alone that aren't meant to be there. So and especially if you said you had a crippling anxiety disorder growing up and you did the hard work to be on the other side of that. I think that when you find that comfortability of being alone, sometimes it is hard, but it's because you're less likely to lower your expectations or your standards because you're like, I'm good here, I'm fulfilled. So to be a 28-year-old absolute queen that loves traveling alone and doesn't feel bad about it, you shouldn't feel weird about that. I think, however, maybe you're projecting slightly if you feel like you're seeing pity or people are, coming at you in some kind of way. I think that maybe that it is confusing to them because maybe they never spent any time alone. But the overarching thing for me is it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else. So I don't think that means you're not going to ever meet your person or what. You're 28, you're so young. It's totally fine to be on your own and enjoy it.
Yeah.
While you are.
I don't think you need to start prioritizing meeting somebody or thinking that you should meet someone just because people are calling it into question. You are like a real pure introvert. And I think that's always just a compelling thing to people when they come across them because they're just probably used to having company and enjoying company. And it's hard to explain to them, like the way you enjoy company and being around people and that charges you, being alone does that for me. That's all you need to say for people to draw any type of comparison or relate to you. So I think like you keep doing you and what makes you happy. If you want to travel alone, that's fine. And at some point, the person's going to probably cross paths with you. It's probably going to be maybe someone that's similar to you. And I think maybe find someone that does enjoy doing stuff alone is going to be the best person for you, because the worst case scenario, you find someone who's codependent and that's just going to push you away.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think like if it comes down to that, maybe find like forums where there's other like solo travelers that maybe want to meet up along the way, just so like you can like share in similar company. But don't worry about what other people think. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. And also, but if you feel good where you are, then just stay where you are. Keep doing your own thing.
Yeah.
You'll have plenty of time to be bogged down by someone else at a later year.
Exactly. As you guys know, I take my health seriously, but do you know what I take even more seriously?
Tell me.
Gordo and Butter's health.
Duh.
Obviously. Sometimes when they're licking their little paws is because they're itchy. And it's so sad because they have allergies.
Allergies and dog flare up when bad bacteria takes over the gut, because 90% of your dog's immune system lives in the gut. Just like humans, dogs need probiotics or good bacteria to strengthen their gut and calm an overactive immune system.
That's why I use Better Wild's Allergy Relief Soft Chews, a supplement designed to support your pet's allergy defense system by strengthening their digestion. They're the first and only chews with ancestral advantage wolf probiotics derived from your dog's mighty ancestor, the wolf, that help restore a healthy balance of good bacteria in the gut.
Better Wild allergy supplement chews include 4 key ingredients: a premium blend of wolf probiotics called the Ancestral Advantage, designed to rewild your dog's gut Alsacii, a postbiotic delivered from kimchi that's been clinically proven to reduce itchiness and redness in just 2 months with daily use, colostrum to boost the immune function and fight inflammation, and salmon oil to support healthy skin and fur.
I give Butter and Gordo the Better Wild chews every morning, and they love them. Better Wild is committed to helping your dogs with science-backed, veterinarian-approved solutions that you can feel great about. Right now, Better Wild is offering our listeners up to 40% off your order at betterwild.com/disrespectfully.
That's betterwild.com/disrespectfully for 40% off your first order. betterwild.com/disrespectfully. This show is brought to you by BetterHelp.
It's true. Sometimes it can feel like everyone else has it all together in their love lives. Whether married, dating, or single, most of us are still figuring it out and finding our way. And no matter where in the journey you are, therapy can help you find your path, help you determine what you want, what feels heavy, and how you can take some pressure off yourself.
We get it. February is full of flowers, candy, stuffed animals, and of course, lots of talk about relationships and dating. No matter where you are, whether you're married, dating, single, or just focusing on you are right on time. Therapy can help you find your way and see more clearly where you want to be.
I couldn't agree more.
Here's the thing. I didn't realize how much of a problem I was in my own relationships until therapy.
Most people don't.
Huge breakthrough.
I think most people don't realize how much of a problem they are in most areas of life. And that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means you sometimes need that unbiased opinion, that type of perspective on your life that you can't get from someone that you're maybe close to or a family member. You need it from somebody who's professional.
Right. They have no skin in the game other than helping you and presenting you with a neutral perspective on your own BS.
Absolutely. Therapy can help you identify what's weighing your relationships down and find ways to brighten them again. Whether it's for individuals or couples, therapy is an opportunity to identify what's getting in the way and help remove any blockers.
BetterHelp therapists work according to a strict code of conduct and are fully licensed in the U.S. And they do initial matching work for you so you can focus on your therapy goals. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally with an average rating of 4.9 out of 5, which means they typically get it right the first time.
If you aren't happy with your match, it's easy to switch to a different therapist at any time. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/disrespectfully. That's betterhelp.com/disrespectfully. It's 2026, and if you're still paying rent without Built, it's time for a change. Built is the loyalty program for renters that rewards you for your biggest monthly expense, rent. With Built, every rent payment earns you points that can be used towards flights, hotels, Lyft rides, Amazon purchases, and so much more.
And here's something I'm really excited about. Now, Built members can earn points on mortgage payments for the first time. That means you get rewarded wherever you live and unlock exclusive benefits for more than 45,000 restaurants, fitness studios, pharmacies, and other neighborhood partners. Personally, I redeem my points for a Barry's class. I've always wanted to be cool like that.
Ooh, me too. And it's simple. Paying rent is better with Built, and soon owning a home will be better with Built too. Earn rewards and get something back wherever you live.
Join the loyalty program for renters at joinbuilt.com/disrespectfully. That's joinbilt.com/disrespectfully. Make sure you use our URL so they know we sent ya.
Okay. Holly says, y'all are amazing. I love you. I'm going to keep the whole part about me worshiping you short. You don't have to.
You don't have to do that.
Because I've got a bit of a long story and it's a genuine emergency for me. But Dayna, oh my God, has anyone ever been hotter? What the fuck? You're a goddess.
Thank you.
Katie, way to live all of our teenage emo dream girls by bagging a Sleeping with Sirens. Well, he's a guitar player. You're literally, well, he does sing a little bit.
You get the point.
He's very talented. You're literally the person I dreamed to be. Okay. Wow. That was really nice. Anyway, this is where I need advice. My best friend, also the mother of my kid's best friend, started talking about how shitty her husband is about 1.5 years ago. The talking turned into showing me screenshots of their awful conversations, to videos and voice memos of him verbally obliterating her, to a literal picture of bruises. I told her all the things about how to get out and that I would be here for her and she can stay with me, all the stuff. But also, I told her that her husband is the actual worst and plenty other crap about him. We had a 3-girl group chat where all we did was trash talk about him. She started looking for a lawyer and planning out the rest of her life. Then she decided to stay with him. I told her that I respect her choices and will always be here to support her and cheer her on. Then she showed her husband our text messages. And now he hates me. He's keeping her away from me by saying that I disrespected him in my text messages to his wife/my best friend. She doesn't seem to be making any effort to stick up for me and maybe explain the situation to him a little better. I feel shitty for feeling hurt because obviously she needs to keep herself safe and I guess prioritize her shitty marriage. I don't know. I really don't get it. How do I not be so hurt by this? Our friendship seems to be over based on her meeting me at the gym to exchange stuff rather than letting me into her driveway. And I know I just need to be there for her, but that hasn't worked out after all this time, and I'm hurt and sad and tired of all help. Well, this is really sad. This is a really shitty, sad situation because she's in an abusive relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So her sticking up for you to him, sticking up for herself to him isn't going to happen, unfortunately. I think at this point, as hurtful as it is, you have to support her from a distance. Like, let her know, like, I'm going to put some distance between us. I'm going to worry about you every day and I'm going to be here for you when you eventually need me, but this situation is too much and I just cannot participate in it. I think you feel like you're abandoning the person, but she's also abandoning you. She's abandoning herself and there's no one can save her except for herself. Like intervening in a real way, in a physical way isn't going to happen, I don't think. So I think you can be supportive from a distance if you feel like it. If not, protect your peace.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I think that she's unfortunately possibly being manipulated also.
Yeah.
I'm not sure the context of why she would just willingly show him those texts. It seems strange, but
it seemed like almost it was like a transactional thing of like her, you know,
maybe redirect some anger that was coming toward her. We don't know, but I also think that he, in any type of abusive relationship, they really want to distance people from the people around them that support them anyway. So I'm sure that he's loving this and using it as the leverage to do so. But at the same time, I think that you've been a supportive friend up until this point. You've tried. And if she is also like the gym thing to me is also telling, if that's kind of where she is, you can only meet people where they are. And obviously you want to help her and you want her to be safe and well. But if you've made your piece known, I think all you can do is take a step back for the time being.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you cut her off and never speak to her again. Like, make sure she knows that you're there if she's ready to, make those changes, but it's got to come from her, unfortunately.
Exactly.
Megan says, Dear Coven Queens, I'm obsessed with you both beyond words and I need advice. My job is slowly killing me, not literally, just mentally. I worked in retail management for 10 years, and lately I've been feeling more desperate to quit everything and start over. I feel like I somehow got stuck in a job, and every time I try to pursue something else, I get pulled back in. Last year, I interviewed for a corporate level position at my company, and I got it. I thought the stars were aligning until my company did layoffs a week before my promotion date and eliminated what would have been my new job. With the world burning and my elevated social anxiety, I just feel like I want to back away from this career path and start over because life is short. I also spend 2 hours a day commuting to my job. My real dream is to start a homestead and do any other sort of career that is outside with a lot less interaction with society. Can you blame me, an ADHD girly with severe social anxiety? I have an acre of land with chickens, ducks, and a cute garden already, but starting over means entry-level pay, which I definitely cannot afford. Technically, I have a wonderful husband who pays half the bills, but he doesn't make enough to support both of us. All of this to say, I know I'm lucky to have a job in this economy, but when do you just say fuck it and follow your dreams? How do I start over? Do I start over? I know this is long, and I'm so sorry. If you read this, I will pee my pants. Disrespectfully, Megan. Well, Megan, I hope you brought a fresh change of clothes to your job.
I hope you're sitting on plastic.
I feel like it's kind of a rock and a hard place, right? Because I do think that the universe rewards us for taking the next step when we can't see the staircase, but I'm also just a realistic person. Like it's romantic to just like drop everything in your life and do whatever and start over, but sometimes there's real life gets in the way. So I would say maybe instead of just quitting off the cuff before you know exactly, because it sounds like you have an idea of the direction you'd want to head, maybe spend some free time diving into that more thoroughly of what are actionable steps. Okay, so this is a job I would want. Maybe it's less pay than you make now, but more than entry level. So then what are the steps that I need to A, B, and C to get there? And then you can start putting your energy toward like, what can I do to be working toward this new path while I'm still employed at this job? And then see, I know you said like your husband can't necessarily support you both, but see if is there like an amount of time that it would be like 1 to 2 months where I've been working toward this goal, and then that's probably going to be where I'll have to quit my job, that you guys feel safe about it, and then maybe have a backup plan just in case. But like, if you're me, life is short. So if you can pivot again, shake it up.
Yeah, I agree. I think that life is very short, and you should be able to fulfill your dreams and do the things that you really want to do, regardless of age or circumstance. You know, I think like what Dana's saying, I think this is just going to require like a good amount of planning. It's not impossible. I just think you have to really plan out your next steps in terms of it. Maybe it's like saving some money where you can, and coming up with a timeline of things, just so that way when you do it, you can feel confident and good, and you know it's not going to like hurt your guys' position, and you know you're still supportive of one another. But I say, yeah, do it. Homestead life is crazy to me. I watched this show on like, I don't know what network it was, about these families that for 8 weeks went and lived on homesteads, and they had to like plow the fields and like and have chickens and you know they had to then store food for winter time. It was so much work. I was just like, I could never, but like it's really respectful work.
Well, also, I know this is like so 2026 of me, but I honestly think would be a market for content of that. Big people love watching that shit. And like, I'm curious if you would be interested in doing that, of what you're already doing, but then just recording yourself and making content either on YouTube or TikTok. I mean, people, when you have a niche, use it.
Yeah, I think so too. Because then, hello, you can monetize that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anonymous says, hey divas, I'm hoping for some advice from my slightly more confrontational West Coast older sisters and close personal friends, Dana and Katie in my head, LOL. For real. I adore you both. And as always, thank you for the space you've created and continue to nurture for all the Coven to feel welcome. So I work in a shared office and I love my coworker, but she makes noises. They're constant. Just to name some examples, she slams everything, paper, pens, books, and makes no effort to soft shut doors, drawers, or cabinets. She doesn't have a mouse pad, so she's slamming her mouse often on her desk, has a keyboard that's from 95 and every button is so loud. There are a number of respiratory issues that are going on with, I don't mean to laugh, but like, this would drive me fucking insane.
I was about to say that Katie would kill this person.
Respiratory issues that are ongoing with her, which has her constantly coughing, usually not covering her mouth. Yuck.
Yeah.
Sneezing, sniffling, and hacking all day. I have suggested to her to have her home tested for mold because it's not normal for somebody to be perpetually sick. Literally every day in the 2 years we've worked together. On top of this, she sighs loudly and constantly all day. We work in legal, so it's already stressful and just makes it feel like a hostile environment. We work in a very small startup firm and don't have an HR department. And if anyone said anything to her, she would know that complaints are coming from me, which makes me feel like I should be the one to address it to avoid it being more awkward. I just don't know how to do it. It feels petty, but it's genuinely making me miserable. SOS, please. Any advice welcomed. Okay, love you, bye. Anon, I suppose. Okay, I feel for you so bad because like there's nothing more. And noises, like all sorts of noises bother me. Chewing, swallowing. It's just, I think you're gonna have to just do it. Like, you're just gonna have to be as fucking direct as possible. And I think there's a still way to be nice to her, but I just think you like do it in a way that's obviously private, not around anybody else. And just say, hey, I need to be so honest with you about something and I feel bad. It's like, I don't know if I feel embarrassed about it, but it's becoming just such an issue and I don't want it to turn into something else. But like you're very loud. I don't think you have the sort of spatial awareness that that maybe most people do, but yeah, like you're begging yourself, just be very specific about those instances are, and just say like, if you could just try to be like more mindful, like when you're doing that this is a shared space, that it is affecting me, it's affecting my work, and it's also going to affect our relationship if it continues. But I understand these are probably things that you're just like super not aware of, so it might be an adjustment period. But like, if you could just try to be mindful, I think that's the best you can do. And just like I said, be specific, just be direct and honest and kind about it. What about you?
I think you should go Jersey Shore 2009 style and type an anonymous note and leave it in her. Imagine like Ronnie made out with 2 women and was smothered by breasts. I think that I agree with you. That's a path, but I just know how hard that is, especially in a work situation. I mean, I don't have anything else to add. I think that you're just going to have to be direct because so you've worked together this has been going on for 2 years. I don't know how you're still doing it, but I just, think come from a place of not tail between your legs, but just like, I'm so sorry. I really don't want things to be uncomfortable, but it's been bothering me. And if you could be a little more mindful, I would really appreciate it.
And if she becomes combative or just like, oh my God, so I can't do anything, like just say, that's not what I'm saying. I think you'll know quickly whether or not you are able to engage in this. And if she becomes really defensive and like mean about it, then maybe you involve other people. I don't know, like a higher up person. I'm not sure. I don't want it to turn into this like war between you, but it would drive me fucking nuts.
I know. You wouldn't be able to deal with it.
I would go crazy.
Good luck. Hope that helps.
Yeah.
Hope that helps. Anonymous says, hello, ladies. You guys have such great perspectives and I generally agree with everything you say. So I'm really hoping you can give us some advice on how to deal with a brother-in-law from hell. My sister is married, quotations here, story for another day, to the worst person imaginable. If there's anything worse than basement, he's 20 steps below it. For context, I have the temperament of a basket of puppies, so for me to dislike someone speaks volumes. He's an addict, physically and verbally abusive. He's called me a liberal cuck. He has said unforgivable things to our mom. The list goes on and on. He's the type of person you cannot have a conversation with. Instead, it's just him talking, shouting at you for an indefinite amount of time, and all you can think about is, how do I escape this conversation? You get the idea. It's also worth noting that my sister has a baby with this child, so he's permanently tethered to us. Because this dude sucks so much, it's ruining my relationship with my sister and my niece. I do my best to play nice when we're together, but that usually amounts to me just avoiding him at all costs outside of small talk. Despite my natural resting happy face, it's painfully obvious to him and my sister that I can't stand him. It's really hard for me to fake nice to someone who I know is hurting my family. I've tried to talk to her about it, but she always makes excuses for his behavior. She so badly wants to tell us to get along, so she's started to withhold really important, scary information from me. I'm afraid if I try and bring it up anymore, it'll just continue to push her farther away, and she'll feel less comfortable coming to me if things get bad. What's a big sister to do? Suck it up and be fake as fuck to this piece of shit, or stand your ground and cut him out? If you end up reading this, thank you. I mean, it's such a tough place to be because I understand your concerns about not wanting to push her away, and it doesn't seem like she's wanting to leave the situation. And I think that you have valid red flags beyond him being unlikable. You said he's physically and verbally abusive, and he's not only this way to you, but to your guys' mom. I think that there are just multiple things at play. I mean, At the end of the day, we each live our own individual lives though, and you do need to protect your peace. So I would say talk to your sister about it and just say like, I love you. Or is this, you're really going to stay with this person forever? Cause she could leave him. It's hard. And I'm not saying that that's I'm not minimizing that at all, but I'm just curious if she plans on like sees this as big of enough a problem that she wants to leave, or if it is in fact going to be her life partner, because then, yeah, you're going to have to make the decision. Can I put up with this person? If it's me and I'm looking at this through the lens of someone who's very close with their sister, I would really do anything that I could to have a relationship with my sister and my nieces. So I would, without enabling, I would do what I could to be around and just like see him as little as possible, or have an individual relationship with them. Like, can you guys hang out at your house? Can you meet up places? Like, does he have to be in the mix when you're spending time with them?
Yeah, that's what I wonder too, is like, is there a world in where you just can have a relationship with your niece and your sister and leave him out of it? Because I think I'm not able to like fake the funk with people. If I don't like somebody, I don't want to be around them. I don't care what anyone has to say about that. Like I get to make those decisions of who I want to spend my time around. And I think you're like more than able to do that and well within your right to do so. I think pointing out to her that it's not just the concern that you have for her and how he treats her, but that he treats you like shit. He treats your mom like shit, and that's just something you're not going to like stand for and be around and enable and make it seem like it's okay because you're willing to be around him and participate in life with him. So I think you just be straight up with your sister and just say like, look, I hope one day you get away from this person, but in the meantime, I love you and I love your daughter, and I'm gonna do whatever I can to maintain those relationships, but I'm not going to be around him. And if he shows up, I'm going to leave. Or if he's going to be there, I'm not going to come. And I hope you can respect that.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
Agreed.
This is the last one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anonymous says, hi, Dana and Katie. Anonymous, please. Got it. I'm not sure how to sum up into a short sentence how much I love both of you and your podcast. I'm a nurse and a mother to the most amazing little girl, and your podcast provides me a much needed reprieve from my crazy life. You guys are absolutely amazing, and the way you stand on business for things that matter so much to you is something I truly admire. Okay, on to the matter at hand. So sorry this is going to be so long. I'm writing because I could really use perspective on something that has been quietly breaking my heart. I've been best friends with somebody for 20 years. We shared almost every major life experience together, growing up, relationships, heartbreak, big milestones. A few years ago, she actually moved to my city to be closer to me and my daughter, which at the time felt like such a gift. But since then, something has shifted. We don't see each other much. I feel her pulling away, though I can't point to one specific incident that caused it. If I'm honest, I have a suspicion my life is a bit chaotic. My marriage has been strained. I'm raising a toddler, and things often feel messy and overwhelming. Her life is much more peaceful and stable. I don't feel judged by her. She's never been unkind, but I do feel distance. When I text her, sometimes it takes a week or more to hear back. She often says she's busy or that she's protecting her mental health. I genuinely want to respect that, and I believe her, but I also have needs in this friendship. I miss her. I want time with her. I want consistency. Lately, it feels like the only way this relationship works is if it exists entirely on her terms, her timing, her emotional availability, her bandwidth. And I'm left wondering, is that just adulthood? Is this what happens when lives diverge? Or am I shrinking myself to keep something alive that may already be changing? How do I honor someone's boundaries while also honoring your own need for connection? At what point do you accept that a friendship may longer be mutual in the same way? I love her deeply. I don't want to lose her, but I also don't want to feel like I'm constantly waiting. What would you do? I think you listen to her. I don't think she's doing this purposefully to be mean to you or to withhold friendship from you. I think she's being honest that she has to protect her mental health. You said it yourself, your life is chaotic. So think about what kind of energy you're bringing when you see her. If you're bringing nothing but doom and gloom and my marriage sucks and life is hard, like, yeah, people naturally aren't going to be around that. And they don't have to be. As much as like they love you, like people will design their life according to like what is best for them. And I'm sorry that you're going through a lot and you really need your friendship, but she's telling you what she needs as well. And I know it's not easy going through a difficult marriage on top of raising a toddler, and you could really use a friendship, but like you were saying, it goes both ways. It is a two-way street. Then I think you also need to kind of self-reflect a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that you're, fully to blame here, but I think she's putting distance possibly for a good reason, because I've been that person that was miserable and unhappy. And yeah, I probably wasn't the best company, and it definitely strained a lot of my friendships. But like that was a lot of me and my fault, not wanting to make improvements in my life. So that way I'm somebody that someone wants to be around.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you need to be honest with yourself and get real. And I love you. But that's a little tough love for you.
I mean, I agree. I also think that I like that you notice that she's not coming from an unkind place.
Mhm.
And I think that is a sign of a really healthy, stable person, that if they're creating distance and giving you a boundary, but not being a dick about it. Like, I believe her that she is just trying to protect her peace and probably still does want you in her life since she hasn't like cut you off completely. I don't think it hurts to have a conversation with her and be like, I want to respect your boundaries, but I also just want to let you know how I'm feeling. So like, if there's a better way I can show up here, like, I just want you to know that our relationship is important to me. And I would like to make an effort to, show up in a way that works for both of us. And I care about you and see you in my life long term. And then just, tread lightly with that, but also respect her boundaries.
Exactly.
But we love you so much.
We love you.
We're giving you a big hug.
Yeah.
And everything's going to be okay, kid.
Sure is. Anyway, that's it. That's the episode.
We gotta go. We have an appointment after this, so love you guys though. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Babe, you're gonna see the power of women. Like,
Disrespectfully.